Money's going out, problems coming in. All I do is shout, you're not listening. Another IPA, can't remember a thing. Another day, not in a coffin. I won't get to heaven.
So how's things going? You must be excited now with the album just released. How's everything gone down so far?
Yeah,
The
it's gone really
response?
well. It's got good feedback, so yeah, everyone's really happy with it. So yeah, it's good the reception it's got.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's been quite a long time coming now because the previous album was it 2017? I think the first
Yeah,
album. So it's
yeah.
been a long time coming. So kind of what was I don't know after 7 years since the last release, what's kind of like the biggest hopes and fears of releasing this album now?
Yeah, like you say, it has been a long time coming. Obviously, we've had the start of the band was me, Jason, who's our singer, and Steve, who's the other guitarist. And we started we've been in various different bands, different lineup changes. Sort of the main core of us has been us three. And then yeah, just weren't happy with sort of, I don't know. It was just getting the right songs. We weren't happy. We didn't have like a bunch of songs, I suppose, until this lot that we started writing together. So and then we had a more settled lineup with Paul on bass and Katie on drums.
Mhm. So I mean, when you said that you didn't have a kind of a playlist or a track list of songs to
Yeah.
album, does that mean that this album's kind of specifically theme oriented? Kind of you thought you wanted to kind of specifically kind of tackle certain sounds or certain types of vocals
I
and
mean,
lyrics. It's one.
I think from the first song and the second song with Radio and Trenches, I think it's definitely almost like a statement of intent, and it's starting to get a sort of heavier sound. You can hear that in Hollywood. You can hear that in Throw Away the Key as well, and in some of the newer songs we've already written ones which would be on the next album, which we're hoping is not going to
Right.
take us 7 years to do.
No,
Yeah,
but
we
I mean,
don't want to.
you say that it's a very different. I mean, it's still kind of the beautiful game, but there's definitely something very different about it.
Mm,
Even like Jason's vocal. Hang on, Roxy's here a sec. Hang on a sec. I'll just let her in. It says Roxy. Sorry,
yeah.
Katie. Hello there, Katie. How you
Hello.
doing?
Good. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you fine. Yeah, yeah. Can you hear us and see us okay? Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, so I was just basically saying congratulations on the album, and we were just talking about how it's been kind of 7 years till the second album now, which is always a difficult album. But I was just saying to Lawrence that this album, even though it's got the kind of the Beautiful Game sound going there, it kind of does sound kind of heavier, and like the previous album was more kind of Britpoppy. This one's still got some Britpop in there, but it kind of sounds more closer to kind of Editors, a bit of Manic Street Preachers even in there sometimes, things like that. Yeah, was that something
Yeah,
you were kind of more going for this time around?
I think I'm kind of new-ish to the band. I've been with the band for a little while now, since just before COVID. So I'm thinking maybe about 6 years. And I think I kind of add in that little bit of a heavier sound,
Right.
um, which I guess has pushed us a little bit towards the heavier side.
But I mean, I guess they chose you. Was there anything specific when, I mean, I guess you did auditions, no, for new drummers, no? Was there anything specific that you wanted in the new drummer? I mean, it's going back 6 years now. It's not that re
Um, yeah, as soon as we met Katie, just sound wise, it just gelled. Um, Not just sound wise, also just her as a person as well, just gelled with the rest of us. It was yeah, we did audition quite a few drummers, and then just as soon as we met Katie, that was it. It was like, yeah, and then I think some of the songs we were writing, like I think one of the first songs we played with Katie was in Clifton Alone. Um, and almost like one of the drummers was like a jazz drummer, and it just didn't sound right. And then as soon as Katie got behind the drums, we were like, right, that's it. And then it did, like Katie said, obviously I think it's good that everyone's got sort of different influences. Katie definitely brings that sort of heavier side as well in the way she plays, and it really does suit how we're writing now as a band. I think Pablo also has quite he's into stuff like into Shikari and stuff like that. So it's
Right.
that it brings that element too. Obviously, yeah, glad you mentioned the Manics. So that's definitely sort of stuff like that is stuff
Definitely
that
some
I
of
love.
the definitely some of the drumming and some of the kind of the guitar solos and stuff. Kind of
Mm,
this some of the riffs at the beginning of the songs as well reminded me kind of
mm,
like the early Manics, like the Holy Bible
yeah,
album, things like that. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I love it all the way through. It's one of these. I mean, like I said on Twitter the other day, it's one of those albums that you can just listen to the whole way through without skipping any not as great tracks. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
yeah, it's really great.
No,
Um,
brilliant.
Kind
Thanks.
of, I was really conscious as well to try and make all the tracks in the album kind of blend from one until the next, so that when you're listening to it, you kind of don't want to put it down, so that you can keep going.
no, it works. I've listened to it about 3 times the last hour, so not I had to skip just to kind of prepare for the interview a bit. Yeah, but it's I love it. But it does. I mean, not so just on the musical side, but also in terms of kind of the lyrics. I mean, there are some happy lyrics there, but there are some very dark lyrics there. And curiously, some of the darkest lyrics, like for example, there's one where he sings "Can't wait to dance on your grave" from the Penny Drop now, and that is a
Yeah.
very catchy kind of poppy chorus, and he's singing that. And I mean, it just works though. I mean, was it intentional to kind of get very darker with the material, but at the same time, kind of an enlightening feeling to the whole thing at the same
I
time
I
in
think I mean
places?
see without sort of speaking for Jay and his lyrics, but
Sure.
he obviously a couple of the songs are about the theme of him going through a breakup, and obviously that is one of them. Um, and I think I mean you can see some of our favourite bands, myself and Jay, obviously Stone Roses. If you look at them, they had very happy tunes, but also quite sort of scathing at times lyrics.
Yeah.
So so yeah, that yeah, don't know if that's obviously goes hand in hand with that, but
And
yeah, I think
a lot of the time he was writing lyrics in COVID as well. So he was going on these big long walks, and during his big long walks he would write down ideas and lyrics in general. And then the way we write the song as a band, and then Jay will come in with lyrics and see what he's got and see what fits over the top and try different things. And I think it really works like that.
But does he
also,
come with the
yeah,
lyrics, or does he kind of come with ideas for melodies as well, or is he just mainly kind of the lyrics man to
I
see?
think it depends how the song's written. Sometimes, like so, some of the songs, like from the dance floor, I originally wrote sort of at home. A lot of the times, unless it's one of the heavier songs, I'll write at home on an acoustic guitar,
Right.
and I'll send that round to the bands just on the phone. Um, and then the same with Dominoes was written that way, and a couple of the others. But then some of them were written together in the room as a jam. Then Jason will come along with lyrics. So the ones where it's been pre-sent to him, he can have a melody in mind. But other
Right.
times, yeah, he'll just sort of go
Uh-huh.
through it on the spot. I mean, Trenches, the chorus was sort of rewritten 3 times
Right.
until it was one we were happy with.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I mean the choruses are all great. Well, you said that you kind of ended up jamming a few songs and they kind of
Yeah.
created themselves. No, were they? I mean, there's a couple of kind of very ska heavy tunes on there. Were they a couple of those that maybe you kind of jamming around to, or were they very specifically kind of you wanted to bring a couple of ska songs on there?
Yeah, I'm a big sort of Madness and Specials fan.
Right.
So Dominoes was one. I just
Yeah, that's just,
that's
it just jumps in. That's just a huge ska song
yeah
straight away. Yeah, it's nice, great. Yeah.
that one. I had the chords at home and sent it around to the band and said, look, I really like this tune, sort of more of a ska feel. Um, in fact, All Out was written as a jam, which is probably one of the more poppy ones, and that was started out between me and Paul jamming the riff together with Katie, and then Jay just come up the top with the lyrics. So yeah, that one was definitely a jam. Some of the other ones, Steve has the initial guitar riff, which we build around. So again, it yeah, all of the songs are written in sort of different ways.
Uh-huh. So
which is good.
which were the ones that you that kind of came about while you were not particularly writing anything specific on the album?
Uh,
Definitely All Out, um, for sure. Um,
I think
that
Hollywood was from a jam after Steve's initial guitar part.
it was also oh, the heavy one.
The
Throw away the
heavy one.
key.
That's it. Throw away the key. That came from a jam.
That's a great one. Yeah. Yeah. And also, something else that I wanted. I mean, obviously we've got Hollywood and Holloway is very specific, kind of centered around London. Though, was there any talk about kind of making sure that the music had a very specific kind of London sound going on there, especially kind of that kind of song that was very London specific?
Well, that one was Jay. Obviously, it was where he worked at the time. Was a pub on the Holloway
Mhm.
Road, so that one was very much lends itself to obviously the area and the lyrics are basically a product of that. Just the people you see in London and some of the weird and wonderful characters. Um, so yeah, I don't know if it was a conscious thing. I think from the logo, you can tell it's definitely a conscious thing to sort of that we're a London band because it's obviously based on a London road sign,
Yeah.
with TBG as like the postcode almost. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, obviously we're all proud of being from London. So
Sure.
yeah,
But there's no kind of specific conscious decision to make something sound
no, I
really
don't
London
think so.
based.
Don't
No.
I
think
think
so.
it just kind of it comes to fruition and it kind of it builds its sound. And especially when we hear Jason's lyrics over the top, I think that then molds into how we play a little bit as well. So we might jam something, come up with an idea, hear what Jason's singing over the top, and sometimes it develops even further in the music to kind of match what Jason's singing about.
hmm And I want to talk a little bit about the producer as well, because you had, is it Bo Blaze on production here? Was there any
Yeah,
specific reason why you went with Bo? Because he's obviously he's worked with Biffy Clyro and Ellie Goulding, all kinds of people. Was there any specific reason why you how you kind of did you stumble upon him, or did you actually pick him out yourself for a specific reason?
yeah. I think I definitely stumbled across him and then said, "Look, this is definitely a guy we need to work with." Because a friend of mine who plays, he asked me to play guitar on one of his tracks, and Bo was producing it. So I
Right.
met him through that, become really good mates with him, all of us, and yeah, I thought he the way he worked would be very good with Jason. Previously, when we've been in recording studios, sort of Jay's a perfectionist, and he never wants to. You get with all singers. I can do that take better. I can do that take better. And by the end of it, you're doing about 20, 30 takes, and he's burning himself out. So I know that Bo is very meticulous in the way he does things, and basically, I think he knows whether he's got it or not.
And was he
Um,
able to convince Jason about that?
yeah. With
Well,
with the rest of our help, we just said, look, if the producer says he's got it, mate, then do you know what I mean? That's it.
just leave it, leave it
Yeah.
be. Yeah. Uh-huh. Because, but I mean, it must be hard. Though. I mean, it's great that is someone is such a perfectionist. But I'm very much a perfectionist myself, and I know that it can be hard to work with someone like that.
Mm.
So how I mean, before you brought the producer on board, how do you reach this kind of decision on how the song ends up sounding? You know, if I mean, especially kind of his vocals going over the top of the music, things like that. Because if he's such a perfectionist, I'm
Mm.
sure that he wants everything to be just right to go with his
Of
vocals as well.
course,
No?
but so do we all. Do you know what I mean? We
Oh,
want to
sure, yeah,
be
of course, yeah.
playing something we're proud of, and I suppose a lot of these songs before we started recording them were well gigged, well rehearsed. So we've played them so many times. We sort of knew how we wanted it to sound, but then obviously having a producer like Bo, it's him giving um, it's a different set of ears and also almost like a fresh perspective. So it's quite good
Mm.
in that sense. And then everyone else brings their ideas as well when it's recording and what we think could be added. Like
Every
obviously
time
the
we Sorry. Every
oh
time
go on.
we in practice, Steve records us. So he brings a little video camera and we record every practice. Steve sends it round every time. Excuse me. And we make notes and we come back to band practice with the notes and say, oh, I think you should have played it like this and I should have played it like that. And then we do the same things with gigs as well. We record all the gigs.
Right.
So we know what it sounds like live, if there's any issues with particular songs or we notice that maybe the room empties when we have a certain song play. Okay, what do we need to do with that song to make sure that everyone sticks around and enjoys that song as much as everything else?
Uh-huh. I mean, you mentioned that Bo he was kind of like a fresh perspective, no, on what you'd kind of written.
Yeah.
What would you say that what were his kind of pointers? And I mean, the album sounds really, really polished. I mean, I don't like comparing things, but compared to the previous album, this really, really does sound really
Mm.
polished. So, what would you say that he brought to the album in terms of recording it, mixing it, and also kind of his fresh perspective?
He's
Uh, oh, go on. Are you going to go,
He's a
Katie?
perfectionist as well. So all of the sound, when we record it, he even measures microphones and the distance between each drum and the microphone so that everything is absolutely perfect and spot on. He even we have ideas for synths and things, but he plays all these different instruments as well himself, like saxophone and synths and pianos. And so it's really good to hear from his musical brain as well what he would add to it. um, yeah, go on, Lawrence.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, even from sort of mine and Steve's guitar parts, we, like Katie says, we record everything and we play it, but also from his ears, if he doesn't think something sounds right, he's not afraid to tell us. And I
Sure,
quite like that
you need
because,
that, really. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so there's some of the guitar parts that originally, when we started playing these songs live, that are different to how they're recorded and now different to how we play them now. So even just a subtle change from some parts, and I think that's really good. And it's yeah, we really enjoy working with him.
Hmm. And now that you said there's different playing afterwards, kind of live. I imagine kind of once you've recorded it and you take it back onto the stage, you take everything that Bo's kind of his
Yeah,
input, and that
yeah,
kind of plays out on the stage as well, no?
yeah.
And
No,
so,
exactly. So this is now the songs, and obviously that's how it's recorded. So that's how we do them live, rather than yeah. It's only little subtle changes, but it definitely makes the songs better.
hmm. I mean, on this album, especially that's the last song, for example, is that this really brooding instrumental ending there with the guitar and
Mm.
stuff. Is all that stuff? Do you kind of try to stick as closely as possible when you go on stage because of
Yeah, I mean,
this
we've
input that
only
you've
ever
had, or do you try and kind of mess around a little bit just to kind of keep the punters happy and give them
we've
something a little
only
bit different, give it a bit of a twist?
we've had dominoes. We've been playing it live, but without the sax. The sax was something that when I wrote it, I wanted this sax part. I wanted it to mirror Steve's guitar part and Pablo's sort of walking bass line, and like so something similar, almost like Madness, One Step Beyond, and Night Boat to Cairo sort of feel. We've only played it once with the sax, and Bo come and join us on stage for the album launch gig. But we've had it. We do play it. We've tried it different ways. We've tried it without the ending. We've tried it with the ending, but just minus the sax part. So, yeah, um, we do try and keep it like that, but without the sax. Well, we played it without the sax a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned that the album launch gig. How did that go? Because that must have been like, I mean, I know you said that you played a lot of the songs live, but to actually play them to launch the album and to kind of gauge the feedback what was that like? Was it as you expected, or was it hopefully a lot better than you expected? Or was there any kind of feedback that you weren't expecting at all?
It was a great crowd, really, and it was great to have Bo on stage just for that last song. We played the whole album back to back, so the whole way you would hear it if you were listening to it
Right.
line, we played it in the exact same order. Um, the feedback was great. We had people up dancing for the last song, everyone knees high, like jumping around. It was great.
Hmm. Brilliant. And then is it, I'm not sure if I read it right. On Instagram, it says that you've got a full day gig coming up soon. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a day gig at Hope and Anchor.
But that's not you. Is that you playing all day, or is that a whole
No,
different?
that's
Because
lots of different
it just said
bands.
no, it said the date and then said all day. I was like, they're playing the whole day.
It's an all dayer. So what we really like about this Sunday gig, we've played it before at Hope and Anchor, but with a different promoter, is I think it kicks off around 2 o'clock and then it will go on until about 8 o'clock in the evening. So those people that don't like coming out late and seeing us at 10 o'clock, they've got the opportunity to come along and see us in the afternoon a little bit and go home by their bedtime.
It's quite curious you say that because obviously like indie music's really coming back now, especially because like Oasis and all these kind of people. So we've got a lot of people from like my age in the 40s, 50s, and then there's a lot of kind of their kids as well. So have you noticed since that kind of this Brit pop resurgence, this indie rock resurgence that you've got a wider audience coming to your gigs?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's
Yeah.
a mix of people. It's definitely sort of the people from sort of, yeah, like you say, the Britpop era almost. But yeah, obviously we do get some younger people coming to watch us as well, which is good. Just shows that obviously it doesn't matter your age range. Obviously, it's all about the music. Do you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I quite like that we have one of our mates come to see us quite often. He started bringing his stepson, so we got that whole big age range of both of it, and they both love the band and they're really into their Britpop as well. So it's good to have the support.
Yeah, and I mean, have you noticed a kind of an upsurge of kind of more of a following or maybe more of a demand for this kind of music ever since kind of especially after Oasis because everyone's going like, yeah, Oasis is back. Everyone's going to be start picking up a big guitar at school and playing. So do you think it's kind of it's coming back for you as well in a way? It's going to help you to kind of get more gigs and
I think we
reach a
noticed
wider audience.
we we noticed after excuse me, after the Oasis revival, our next song that we released, All Out, kind of blew up. It went really big.
Mm.
We had quite a few listens on it really quickly. Lots more monthly fit listeners on Spotify, and that was really good. I don't know if it was connected to the Oasis or it was pretty nice though.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, just to finish off, then obviously, I mean, you said you've got this all day coming soon. How else will you be promoting the album over the next few weeks and months? Where can people catch you and what's kind of the plan moving forward?
Yeah, just try and get it out as much as possible, gig as much as possible, and just yeah, people to enjoy the music. I think we got this one, and then I think we've got a bit of a break until January, and we've got one of our regular haunts at the Dublin Castle in Camden, which is yeah, to use a football analogy, it's a bit like a home game for us because we play there
Right.
quite often. But we've sort of because we've been playing Camden so much, we've tried to sort of move away to other venues and stuff like that. So we haven't played
Sure.
Dublin Castle for a number of months. So it's be good to be back home.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. And I mean, sorry.
It's all right. We're playing Dublin Castle with a band that we just went to Dublin recently to play along with in Dublin. It
Right.
was a really great gig. So yeah, doing lots of band swapping. We've just got some merch as well. So we got some new t-shirts with the album art on it, and we got some other t-shirts with the All Out artwork on it as well.
Brilliant. And people can grab that at the concerts or on, is there, you've got an online site where they can grab hold of those?
We'll have them at the gig. So yeah, we'll first one will be this Sunday at the Hope and Anchor.
Brilliant. And I mean, just to finish off the last question, then obviously you said that you've got quite a bit of material that hopefully will kind of become another album sooner rather than later. That must be, I mean, obviously it's great that you're getting out and you're getting to write to play these new tunes, but at the same time, will you be kind of gauging this new material that's not on the album? Will people be able to hear those, or are those things that you just got to keep under your belt until kind of you can really kind of let people know that there's another album coming out sooner rather than later?
I think some of them will be played at the forthcoming gigs. Just again, you can just gauge crowd reaction then. Bit like
Mm.
Katie said, to people like it, and yeah, just again, I think some of them are definitely in a similar sort of vein to stuff like radio and Hollywood, and so you can definitely see that's the sort of direction that the band's going in.
And
Yeah.
those were all the tracks that you wrote after you'd actually wrapped the second album.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're on quite a roll at the moment then. So if you've got quite a
Mm.
lot of material, because I mean you only really recently finished the album like a month or two ago, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we finished the songs like together a while ago, but recording them, the albums take quite a
Right.
while
Yeah, yeah.
to get it all done because we do it bit by bit. We recorded all the drums first, which isn't really a usual thing that we do, but we record all
Hmm.
the drums first and then well, all the guitars, the drums next, and then we add each thing to it. So it's taken a while to add all of the pieces together to create the final album.
Hmm.
So we've got a lot of other material raring to go now.
Brilliant. Well, listen, Lawrence and Katie, thank you so much for your time. thank you for a brilliant album. I loved it to bits. Like I said, it's one of the best albums that I've listened to this year. So
Brilliant.
congratulations, and I hope to speak to you again sometime too, and maybe catch you at a gig sometime soon as well.
Thank you so much. We love that feedback. We were like bursting at the seams when we heard that you couldn't stop listening to it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, no, it's great. Honestly, yeah. So
Yeah,
I hope.
thanks so much.
No, thank you guys, and I hope, like I said, I hope to catch you at a gig sometime soon. I'm living in the north of Spain, but hopefully I'll be able to get over there and catch you sometime soon.
Yeah, it'd be
Let
great
us
to
know when
meet
you're
you.
around.
All right, nice to speak to you guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night.
Take care,
Cheers then.
Howard. Cheers,
Bye now.
mate.
Take care. Bye now.